Hi, my name's Starsky and welcome to From the Studio on Clubbing TV. In this episode, I'm going to take a look at Arturia's new Minifreak. And if you know your synths, this may look vaguely familiar. I've got down here the original Minifreak, which I demoed on this show, I think back in 2021. And you can definitely see the family resemblance. We've got these orange knobs on the oscillators. We've got the same or very similar sort of screen. The very similar synths. We've got the matrix up here on the left-hand side. The big difference here is obviously the keys. On the Minifreak, we've got the keys like we've got on the KeyStep and the KeyStep Pro. On the Minifreak, we've got these PCB-based sort of touch strips that are a bit weird, a bit more difficult to play. So it's a nice addition to have the proper keyboard. It's got aftertouch, it's got velocity. This little strip we've got here for modulation and pitch bend, we've got two of them over here on the left on the Minifreak. And the operating system, the way they work, the way you program is super similar. You can see we've got a lot of options across the front of the Minifreak here and there for programming the arpeggiator. And we've got similar on the Minifreak, although we've got less of them. But if you know your way around the Minifreak, you can find your way around a Minifreak. And what are they? Well, they're hybrid synths, and that means they've got digital oscillators and analog filters. These big orange knobs are where we access the digital oscillators, and there's 22 on the Minifreak, loads of different types. I'll go through those in a minute. But basically, we've got here a hybrid synth, digital oscillators, analog filter, coming in at just over £500, 600 euro, 600 US dollars. And to put that in context, here's a couple of other hybrid synths I've demoed in the past. This is the Waldorf M. It's got 8 voices, it's got 2 wavetable digital oscillators and a 24 dB digital filter per voice, and that comes in at £1,500 for a desktop version. And this is the Super 6, it's got 12 digital voices and it's got analog filters as well. This has got high pass and a low pass. And it's got 6 voices when you put it into binaural mode, which is this special trick where 6 oscillators are coming out the left and 6 oscillators are coming out of the right. But this comes in at $2,500 for the keyboard version and about $2,000 for the desktop version. And this is the Prophet VS. It's a vintage unit. It's 35 years old, came out in 1987. It's got 8 oscillators, all digital, all wavetable, plus analog filters. And this will set you back up to around £5,000. So to have something similar in the Minifreak for just over £500, which is a tenth of the price, is a very welcome addition indeed. So let's take a listen to it and just play through some patches, shall we? Let's just start off with patch 1 and play through a few. They've each got a sequence on them, so we'll just play the sequence and see what they sound like. So you can transpose the sequences, you can't do that on everything. Let's try another. It's nice, that sound, isn't it? But just showing there that you can play on top of your sequence. And another. So we got pads, we got funky basses. What else have we got? Nice, let's carry on. Let's try patch 5. That's meaty, isn't it? So we've gone from really pleasant to really dirty. And then from dirty back to nice. What else? These are really good patches actually, aren't they, to show how you could use the synth. Normally they just show all the aspects of the synth in one sort of sound, which doesn't necessarily lead to stuff that you can actually use, but these are really good. So from really useful patches to really experimental ones, but hopefully you can see there the massive range of tones you can get out of that. And that's because of the way the oscillators work. So let's take a look at those. Just finding an initial patch to start this on, and it just reminded me to tell you that we've got 256 patches in here, so 256 of those sounds, which isn't bad, and they're all categorized, so it's easy to find stuff. If we press shift, and filters, let's go to all the bass sounds, shall we? Where are they there? So now as I go through the patches, I'm only listening to the bass ones. Let's find an initial patch. That sounds like an initial patch. Let's see what we've got here on these waveforms then. We've got loads of different types of oscillators here. I'll run through these briefly in a minute, but we've got, I think it's 22 in total. And then on each of those, we've got 3 different parameters: wave, timbre, and shape. So what are we on here? We're on basic waves. And on this sound, that's changing the type of wave. Sounds like from a pulse to a sawtooth or something like that. Timbre. You can hear it's doing something to the sound. And this third one, shape, is bringing in a sub. Well, there you go, that timbre one's changing the width of it, so you get pulse width modulation. Second one, super wave. And that's like a super saw for all those big massive trance leads, but it's not just a super saw, it's a super square and a super triangle. Middle one does the detune. And the third one does the volume of those extra waves. I do like all these little graphics you get on this, really nice. Frequency, frequency, and I think these are from Mutable Instruments Platt's Eurorack module. In fact, we've definitely got Mutable Instruments oscillators in here, as well as Noise Engineering, again, another Eurorack module maker. This one's called Bass. Again, so all sorts of madness from that. So that's the oscillators really, massively flexible. Let's move over to the filter, and this is the analog part of it. It's a really smooth sounding, nice analog filter this. It's a Steiner-Parker filter, which is a 12 dB, which means you don't get those really deep sort of cuts for the frequencies. It means that you don't get those really acidic tones. If you want to get them, use the digital filters. It's got plenty of stuff in here, but these are really nice for pads and things in particular. You don't lose any bass when you turn up the resonance. So this is great for pads, it's great for a polysynth. We've also got a bandpass and a high pass mode as well. But compared to everything else on this synth, that's pretty basic. You do have 3 different modes, but you don't have all sorts of different things. That's because it's analog. The rest of it being digital, obviously you can do a lot more stuff with. So what else could we take a very, very quick look at? The effects maybe? We've got 3 different effects channels on this, and we've got 10 different effects we can choose from. Loads of different bits and bobs in there. The delay and the reverb can be send effects or they can be insert effects. So let's just play a little bit with the reverb, shall we? If we look here again, we've got these little test tubes. On this it's time, intensity is the damping. So we don't want any damping because we want to hear the reverb. And then this will be the dry wet signal. If we press shift and sub, we've got different types. Here we've got dark room, room, echoes, hall, long and default. Let's try long, but that last one was pretty long, wasn't it? Yeah, that's long. Absolutely tons to look at, and this could take probably 3 episodes all on its own. But what are my final thoughts? Well, you've probably gathered I'm a bit of a fan of this. I think it's a great little synth. It's a shame it doesn't have a wavetable oscillator in it. I know the Minifreak does, but that came as a later update, and it also has a vocoder. This has got an audio input on one of the oscillators, so we know it takes audio in, so hopefully they can put a vocoder on it as well. Then you get a really nice polyphonic vocoder. So if you've got that, you've got things like the PPG wave you could emulate, you've got old vocoders you could emulate as well if you're into emulating your old stuff, I suppose, but just make it a load more flexible. So hopefully they're on the way, but as it stands, as it is for the price, if you want a polyphonic synth, definitely check it out. It's a really nice thing. It's got the small keys, it doesn't have big keys. You know, these are things that perhaps people would like. I quite like the fact that it's got the small form factor. It means you can fit it in your room. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, don't forget you can catch it whenever you like on our Clubbing TV official YouTube channel on the From the Studio playlist. And if you are into this, do take a look at my Starsky Carr YouTube channel as well, where I put this up against a £5,000 Profit VS just for a bit of fun. Anyway, I'll see you in the next episode of From the Studio.